The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm your host, Tim Calloway. I have two very special guests for you. Happen to be a husband and wife tangent team out of the San Francisco Bay Area. It is Joraine and Marc Costales. They have been in real estate, at least as far as I know, since around 2007, 2008, and help folks, find nice, beautiful homes in the San Francisco Bay Area. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's exciting to have both of you on because I get to, and it's funny, I'm like right in the middle. I get to hear both sides of the story, and maybe I'll just judge who's right and wrong. No, I'm kidding. I would never do that. I would never do that. So why don't either one of you tell me about how you guys got started in real estate? And did you start together, or is that something that kind of developed over time?
So I've actually been in real estate for 18 years now. Marc's been on my team, or our team, or the team for the past 8 or 9 years now.
Okay.
And it was definitely a challenge, working with your spouse. It still is sometimes, but we've definitely gotten better. Yeah. Do you want to chime in, Marc? Anything to add?
Yeah. So Joraine's been in the business longer than I have. She's got 18 plus years worth of experience. I joined her team about maybe 7, 8 years ago. And as starting out, I always fought it. She always said, "Hey, do you want to be in real estate?" I was like, "No, I don't want to be in real estate. I have no desire at all." When I was actually in sales, which was almost the same thing, but I just wanted kind of my own thing that was separate from my wife, because she had her thing, I had my thing. But and I tell everybody this story. It's like, I was working at a job and I'd come home really, really late, and my daughter would tell me like, "Hey, I don't even see you anymore," and that kind of crushed me. Because it's like, as a father, it's like, all right, I want to be able to see my kids grow up. And it's like, if my daughter tells me that means I'm not present.
Right.
So, and after years and years of trying, it's like, I went to my wife with my tail between my legs and saying, "Hey, so let's try it," so, and she hired me, fired me, hired me, fired me, how that kind of works. I quit many different times, so. But she has a lot of the experience, so I have the gift and the curse of having my mentor being, my spouse. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you admit it, Marc? You were just taking some vacation time.
Sure.
I don't like how this is going. I quit. 2 weeks later, "Hey, I need a job." That's a great story. That's a great story. Now, have you both always lived in the Bay Area?
Yes.
Yeah.
Marc was born and raised. My parents migrated here when I was 1. So
Okay.
I was raised in the Bay Area my whole life. Moved around a lot. I think I went to 14 or 15 different schools and in the Bay Area. And so Marc and I are very well versed in all the different areas in the Bay. And so we cover a wide range of cities and areas, whereas some agents are very specific to one small city, one small town, or one area, whereas we literally will travel maybe 60, 70 miles a day just because we are literally all over the place in any given day. We can be in San Jose, we can be in San Francisco, we can be in Oakland, we can be in Richmond and Tracy all in the same day. And people are like, "What? How do you guys do it?" And so we just do.
Yeah, that's a nice advantage. That's a nice advantage to being, a true couple. I mean, I know a lot of realtors have or in groups or in partnerships or maybe have a team, but it's kind of interesting. I'm also married, but we're not in the same business. But for 32 years, so it's really easy to delegate kind of back and forth. I'll handle this, you handle that, I'll handle this, you handle that. And you know each other so well, as opposed to a team where you might say, okay, you need to go do this. And you might get that, well, I can't because I got this going on. But with a couple, you kind of know where you both are, you could really work. Well, he's laughing. I don't know. He might be like, no.
No. Well, that's so true that you say that, because most definitely we can relate to that. And we say that the work never really stops. We can be in bed at 10 o'clock at night or even at 1 a.m. and we're talking real estate. And first thing in the morning, it's like 6 a.m. and we're talking real estate. And so the momentum and that chemistry that you have between maybe other partnerships that kind of end at 5 when they clock out or go home and then resume the next day, we don't really have a break in that momentum because we're always going, and we're always together. So I always have access to Mark, and probably too much, and he probably needs his space, but I know if he's not anywhere that I can see him, I can find him in the bathroom or if I need to, and have access.
She's TMIing you right now, Mark.
You know what? Like I said, Tim, it's a gift and a curse, right? Because I mean, again, one on the good side is that we can hold each other accountable, and it's not just about business. We're holding each other accountable in life, So it's like, we always put those situations that, like, are you really gonna like take a nap right now? Is that something you do? And again, it's really about mindset too, because we've grown and we've been through that situation where it's like, hey, we are working together to make something else happen. It's not me versus you. It's not about that. And then there is times where I have been on my phone on the toilet, and that's usually a man's like sanctuary. That's where I get to phone, I get to check my fantasy team, but it's like, no, hop in and be like, hey, so are you following up with that client? Are you posting on social media? So, I mean, again, I appreciate that she keeps me accountable, because if I don't, I will float off like a balloon without a weight, So
Mark, you sound just like me, man. I'm not kidding. I swear to my wife is actually, she works for a large company, but we're both remote. She's in another room doing almost the same thing I'm doing. And I swear it wasn't 10 minutes ago, she said almost the same exact thing to me. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it that way? I can't believe you did. And I was like, you're just kind of stuttering. Okay. I can't
Yes,
believe
yes, honey.
yes, honey, just nod. So you had mentioned, Joraine, like at the end of the day, or maybe at 1 a.m, you're at 10 at night, you're having those conversations about real estate. And I do talk to a lot of couples that work in real estate together. And, it's really just an integration of work life, right? I mean,
yes.
You both kind of live it, love it, learn it, whatever the term is. And that's kind of y'all's compass. That's how I see it.
Absolutely. But it's gotten to a point where at one point, real estate had really taken over our life, and it had taken over all the time and every single minute that we had with our children, because we are a family business. And so our kids are at the open houses with us. When we're recording videos for our listings, our kids are in the videos, the pets are in the videos. So it really does encompass our life. And at some point, sometimes you have to kind of put a stop to it. I wouldn't say put a stop to it per se, but you have to create boundaries. And so we've been on countless vacations where we're negotiating a deal or coordinating showings with one of our showing agents, because we're out of town and we're taking care of a client, even though we're not physically in the area. And so we do that all the time, and we've learned now over the years how to get a good balance and kind of create those boundaries so that it's not all consuming, because burnout is very real. And if you do something so much and that's all you do, at some point you will get burned out, because you do need balance, you do need boundaries and other things to help complement your life. And so again, we haven't stopped taking vacations or spending time with our family, but even little things where we're at dinner and we're intentional about being present and
Right.
talking to our kids at dinner versus we would have dinner and I would get up from the table. I remember one time it was my birthday dinner and I had to get up from the table and I was negotiating a deal and my guests were at the table eating dinner without me,
Your
and
own
so
birthday.
just
Yeah.
looking back at those moments, and saying, okay, the world is not going to end if I just put my phone on silent for 30 minutes or an hour and have dinner and be present with my family and resume. And that was really hard for me mentally because I had
Right.
gotten in such a habit and I was such a control freak, but that's where you grow. Like Mark had mentioned, you grow. And that was a growing pain for me, was to release control and to not have my phone glued to my hand every second of every day.
Yeah.
So
It's
Mark,
almost the fear of missed opportunity. That's how I
right.
used to look at it.
Right, right. And also part of that too is also part of an ego. There's an ego thing there and an arrogance, like, oh no, the world is going to fall apart if I'm not in it. No, it's not.
What's
Like the
wrong with
world
thinking
ran
like
just
that?
fine. The world was just fine without me
Right.
checking my email or responding to every single text message in that 30-minute span or 1 hour that took for me to eat. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. So we learned a little bit about, how you guys got into the business and how you kind of came together and how you work together. So what's going on now in the market in your area? How are you finding clients? How do you find new listings? Are you split 50/50 listings and buyers, or do you only go one way, or?
No, so we're pretty split, pretty even with listings and buyers. Mark kind of heads the buyer division. I kind of head the listing division. We both still work and partner up with buyers together and listings. So we're both very much in tune with what's going on with all of our transactions. But we most of our business at this point is from personal referral, past clients, sphere of influence, people we know that have recommended us to people. And that's how we get a majority of our business. Some of it does come off of Instagram, social media, because we're all over the place when
Sure.
it comes to our marketing. You kind of have to be nowadays.
Yeah.
And so, that plays a part in it as well. But we're very blessed to be able to run a business where business kind of just comes to us and we attract people that need our help, that are looking to buy, looking to sell, that have questions. I guess they see us as approachable and we like to explain things and kind of just break it down so it's easy to understand and easy to explain without trying to overcomplicate things. But just giving them the truth about what's happening in the market and what their options are and how this market can possibly benefit them or hurt them. And I think people appreciate that. That goes a long way. I think a lot of people get into the real estate business because they see the glitz and the glam and they're
Right.
attracted by the shiny penny. And if you're very short-sighted, you're not going to last a long time in this business. And so Mark and I are always about the long-term, the long-term value that we can add and the long-term service that we provide to our clients. We keep in touch with our clients regularly, even after the transaction has passed, even
Right.
years. We're going to Hawaii and we have a
Nice.
client that I think bought with us. I don't even know if it was 2013, maybe, so almost 10 years ago. And they were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. I met them at the open house. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, about to move in together for the first time. They got engaged. We were invited to their wedding. So our whole family went to their wedding. Mark played on their softball team. We were at their baby shower.
Nice.
Bowling team.
Yeah, we went to Hawaii for their kid's first birthday.
Wow.
Now I think their kids are like 7 or some crazy number. So I look forward to seeing them, when we visit Hawaii, because we helped them actually sell the place that they bought with us here, and then they relocated to Hawaii. And so it's
Man, when I had kids, or my kids were young, Chuck E. Cheese was nice. Y'all going to Hawaii. Wow. No, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, developing those kind of relationships, real relationships with your clientele, the ones that you like, or the ones that you can get along with, or have that relationship with, uh, over the long term, I found can really circle back around and feed your business. It really can, and it's a fortunate thing to have to be able to do that, being as personable as you are,
Right.
being able to do that for sure.
And that's the reason why we cover such a wide range because, a friend of a friend's cousin sees Joraine on Instagram and sees that their cousin worked with Joraine, and it's like they live in Fairfield, and it's like they want us to perform what was done on the peninsula in the North Bay. So it's like,
Right.
okay, let's do that. I could research the area, research. I mean, again, it's a matter of how quickly I can gain that information and get them in a contract. Now, I'm not shoving people in the contract, but it's like the strategy works. Whatever we put together works in whatever market. And I will always tell my clients, like, hey, you know what? That's not a market that I work, and I'm not scared to tell them that because it's the truth. Like, if somebody wants me to go work in like Humboldt County, and I will tell them, hey, not my area, but I can refer you to somebody that does. And it's someone that's within our relocation department. So that way, again, it's not like, no, it's more like, hey, here's somebody else that could act that I will not be able to fulfill my job to its fullest extent unless I know somebody that actually knows that market. And they understand that, right? And it's like, hey,
Right.
if you want somewhere in the country, I'm perfectly fine with that. We have many different connections with other realtors throughout, the nation, but even worldwide. So, it definitely helps that they are not given a hard stop. It's more of like, okay, let's give you a detour, but I'm going to guide you still and still find out whether or not how things worked out with that agent if it doesn't, because you're still kind of monitoring it from a distance, right? So, and then again, they appreciate that. So that's why
Yeah.
we're Morgan Hill, San Jose, San Francisco, Vacaville, and even in the Valley now. So there's a lot of different clients that we deal with, and that's kind of what we want. So
Nice. Very nice. So let's switch gears a little bit. I have two what I think are poignant questions, and the first one is going to be the hardest one. I- if right now I ask you, what is the one problem in your business that if you had a magic wand, or I had a magic wand and I could solve for you, what would that be?
Consistency
Okay.
for me. Were you
yeah,
going to say the same thing, Mark?
yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. And again, it's hard to be consistent in this business. I mean, the
Right.
one thing that we say is we are consistent in helping our clients, but I think that it's like doing that on a every single day basis is
Hmm.
rough. Like
Yeah.
imagine performing the same exact way every single time. And it's like every client is different, so you have to adjust how. So, and every single person is different. Like one person might want you to hold their hand throughout the whole process, and
Right.
there's really are like, I don't actually don't need your help. I just need you to get me in a contract. And I'm like, okay. So anything in between, we're definitely with that. It's just about the consistency where it's like it kind of falls off.
Yeah.
And acknowledge that.
And I
And
mean, we have standard operating procedures for everything we do. So we have a process for everything. So we're consistent in that sense. But real estate, what I actually love about real estate is that every transaction is different. Every client is different. Every home is different. Even if it looks like the one next door, it's still very unique because there's so many variables and so many things that can happen throughout the home buying or the home selling process that people don't even know could go wrong. Literally hundreds of things could go wrong that people don't see, and it's our job to protect them from those things happening. And even if one or two things go wrong, that's still one or two compared to the hundreds that could have gone wrong. And like
Sure.
Mark was saying, it's our job to help them get past it, help them get through it, kind of overcome those obstacles, and help them achieve their goal. But it is difficult when you get calls late at night or at odd hours because some random things happen. And at first I thought someone had done voodoo on us or something, right? Because I was like, how are these weird, crazy things happening? But our sales manager said, as you do more volume, the more situations you're going to run into that are all wacky and
Yeah.
crazy. And because they get more complex, right? And you're dealing with so many more personalities and people, as opposed to if we were only doing 1 or 2 deals a year, we're like, great, they were perfect, everything went smooth, as opposed to now we're doing like 5 or 6 a month, for example, then it can get crazy. Some of these people are crazy.
I think
some of these people are crazy.
Yeah, just to chime in on, I think I used to work for Sears as a sales consultant for many different years. I think 5 years now, and I remember kind of switching my mind, right, my mindset and coming to sales, and it's like I would never approach a client and be like, "How can I help you?" My approach would be, "What kind of problem can I help you solve?" Because that's what they come to you for, right? They have a problem, you help them solve it, right? So it's not about, can I help you like find this? They know exactly what they're looking for, and they know exactly what problem that they want to bring to you. So you are a problem solver. You are a negotiator. You are a person that has to wear many, many different hats in this business. And again, that consistency, mixing that with a wife, and you have kids, and you have a personal life, it's a whole lot. And that's why mindset is it is so important to make yourself feel grounded. So, I wanted to go back to the whole vacation thing. Like when I'm on vacation now, I don't try not to look at my phone, and I do what I'm doing on vacation. I am checking my Instagram and posting that I got a drink. And she looks at me, she's like, "Did you fall up?" I said, "No. You told me to put on my vacation voicemail," which I did. "And you told me to put on my voicemail for my automatic replies on my email." That's it. I'm vacationing right now. My kids are my priorities. So, and again, she again, the mind of her, she wants to keep on doing that. I want a vacation with my kids, and I want to spend that time. So I wanted to just chime in on that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I mean, you got to have time for yourself, and if you can integrate work without it, I think if you can integrate work without it diminishing the return on your vacation or your family, like Mark, you were talking about before, or your
Right.
time, Joraine, like you were talking about, so be it. That's the healthy balance, or integration, as I like to say. All right, here comes the trick question.
Okay.
Look at them, they're excited. So no, I was mentioning it earlier, let's put on our hats here and say, okay, what does this team look like? What do the two of you look like in your business in the next year? A year from now, what is this going to look like compared to today?
You want me to go?
I got you. Okay.
Do you want to go?
We didn't prep for this question, so I'm kind of scared to hear what Mark has to say.
Well, what's your dream? Okay, well, the better thing is, what is your dream? And we all think, in a year, I want to be here, kind of, whether you put it down in writing or not. What do you think in a year you'd like to be?
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so I've asked myself this question many times. Not in a year, more like 6 months, but in a year, I definitely want to be able to make sure that we have a buyer division, and that's going to be me heading that buyer division, where I have a person that's coordinating. So that person is coordinating the buyer's agents that are going to be on my team. So that person will be like my buyer coordinating specialist, and I'm there to just oversee it, make sure everything's done right. I'm the one that brings in all the leads. I'm gonna have 3 buyers under me, buyers agents, and those agents will be trained by my buyer coordinator, and she will be she's going to be doing everything as far as transactional. I will be getting them in the contract, and it funnels through her. All the leads come up to me, and through the buyers agents, and they basically learn from me and how they do it, and basically just trying to multiply myself and what I do to other people, so that they can multiply and do it to other people as well.
But I noticed you said her though, so she's a she.
Uh-oh.
Well, because
I'm out.
I've come to the realization that every single, and if you see our pictures, Tim, you see us online, whenever I'm at a convention, whenever I'm somewhere, I am surrounded by women. And it's not that like I'm like that, it just naturally happens, right? And it's not like the guys are there for me to hang out. It's just, for some reason, I want to understand and know, because I know guys, right? I know guys. Women are a different breed. They are something that is constantly like want something different than it was before. So I want to understand, and I know it's hard, and it probably will never happen, is to understand, the woman's mindset. And I truly believe that if I had a woman that was running and being the coordinator, they can be more organized than me or any men that I have met. So
Sure.
I am catering towards my weakness to bring in somebody else that is strong. So
Right.
and that's, I feel like that's what you're supposed to do, right? You don't just bring in a whole bunch of weak people that are like on my fantasy team. Like I wouldn't want to do that, because some of those guys are like smart in their own way, but not in
Right.
like doing this, So
Yeah, you don't need
yeah,
anybody coming in blowing up what you got going on, right?
exactly. And I really think that some women are very emotionless, and it's like bam, straightforward. They got tunnel vision. They just want to do this, do this, do this. And if it's three buyers agents that are men, so be it.
Yeah.
So,
There you
and
go.
that's how I kind of see the buyer division going down. Because Joraine is mainly, she does all the listings. So go ahead with the whole. What does our team look like?
Yeah, well, I have an overall kind of goal that, I've talked about with Mark and our real estate coach. Like, I really want to expand our team in terms of, just like how Mark said, having a buyer division, having several buyers agents, showing agents, agents that we're training, mentoring, as well as the listing side as well. So not just buyer specific, but listing as well, and kind of just growing our admin team as well to be able to help support all the roles of the people that are coming in. So right now we do have someone that helps us with marketing. We do have someone on our admin team. We do have a transaction coordinator who only handles paperwork. But as our team grows and as the workload grows, we also feel that our staff will grow as well. And maybe our real estate assistant is going to be the head of several real estate assistants that we have, or a marketing person that we have right now handling all of our social media, but maybe at some point it'll be one assistant per social media platform, that one person does Facebook, one person does Instagram,
Right.
one person does LinkedIn, just because the volume that we'll be doing and the things that we'll be doing at that point will be so, it'll just be amplified 10 times.
It'll take somebody just to handle that for sure. Sure.
Right, right.
Well, guys, how could someone get in touch with you? I saw, we talked about your social media. What's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
So for me, it's Instagram, because I live on Instagram. So DMing me, commenting on my posts, you'll see something new every day. But by phone as well, you can reach us at 510-296-9022. That rings to both mine and Mark's cell phones. So whoever has the quickest finger will pick up. And our website as well, www.thecostalesteam.com.
Nice.
Ditto.
There you go. Well,
That's what they
guys,
do it. If it
what's
rings
that?
both of our phones, right? So there's
Both
no other
phones.
way.
I wonder who's got. I'm gonna call right now. See who's got those fast fingers.
I'm
Guys,
on my phone.
thanks so much for being on. It's really been a joy. Loved hearing both sides of the story here. Hang out with me 1 minute after the show, and we'll talk a little bit. But definitely like to get with you guys. Maybe 3, 6, 9 months down the road, and see how that plan's progressing.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Keep us accountable, Tim.
We will. I will. You guys have a good one.
Thanks,
You
Tim.
too. Thanks so much, Tim.
All right.